thing. Hi folks, as usual I always have this tech issues with me. I don't know why, but maybe I'm not very great at it, or maybe technology doesn't like me. Either of, I have no clue about it, but finally it works out. It has to work out. So guys, I am here to talk about two major issues. One, I want to pick up an issue of screen time, which is also part of our parent training. Always as a parent, we are constantly worried about how much screen exposure should be given to our child and whether my child is overexposing to it. And I know in earlier times, otherwise also we used to not let our children see a lot of screen, like they would be playing on the mobile all the time, और हम उनसे मोबाइल छीन लिया करते थे ये बोल के ज़्यादा पूरा दिन मोबाइल पे मत रहो, पूरा दिन मोबाइल पे मत रहो, पूरा दिन टीवी मत देखो, पूरा दिन गेम मत खेलो. Now, unfortunately, COVID has changed a lot of realities of our life. COVID has made us more vulnerable towards a lot of things. Since our children are not able to go out, the only option they have is to remain indoor, and they have to learn, they have to do whatever it is possible indoor. And we as parents, जनरली अगर कुछ काम होता भी है तो हम प्रेफर करते हैं कि वी अडल्ट्स शुड गो आउट एंड चिल्ड्रन हैव टू रिमेन एट होम. So understanding all of this, screen time exposure has increased to a great level, and we cannot change that. We really can't do anything about it because this is apparently the new normal, and we don't know when and how we are going to go back to that world where children are playing outdoors, children are playing on the playgrounds, children are meeting other children. Unfortunately, the sad part in all this is not just the screen time, but also that children are not getting to meet their friends, they are not getting to go out and play, they are missing out on a lot of fun in their life. And in that, if we push them to take away their screens as well, imagine what they must be going through, what they are going to feel throughout the day. And to top everything, now most of the learning is going to happen only through screens. So how do we really manage that? How do we really help our children to be off screens during the time when they are not really supposed to be around screens? So remember that most of our screens today are very technologically advanced. Like Samsung is using Super AMOLED screen, Apple is using Retina display, and Nokia is using reflection, color reflection screens and all. So understand that the gadgets itself are made with very high quality inputs, so that itself helps us or helps our children to be more protected. And I am sure that companies are still working towards it, and maybe next few generations will have better screen exposure. So understanding that screen itself is not going to now create that much damage, but of course screen learning is not the ideal way of learning. So what you can do, apart from giving them that little exposure to screen, like I understand the WHO says that below 1 year we should not be exposing children to screen, and 1 year onwards 1 hour sedentary screen time is okay. And then once they are toddlers, probably between 1 to 3 hours is enough, and even for an adult more than 3 to 4 hours of screen time is not good. So what we can do is we can expose them to screen, and we can try and give them a break every 40 minutes or every 30 minutes. So we can make them do a lot of eyes exercises. We can simply just rub our hand and put it on the eyes to give it a little more warmth. It also helps in retaining the moisture of the eyes. We can make them do exercises like turning around your eyeballs, looking in all the directions, or looking at left and right first and then top and bottom. So these kind of exercises, which are freely available, you can access a lot of them. These kind of exercises will help them have that break in between the long screen hours. So if your child is sitting on the screen for 1 hour, most of the schools, fortunately and intellectually, I'm seeing that they have anyways incorporated these things in their routine. So most of the schools I'm observing are not keeping more than 30 minutes or 40 minutes lecture at a time. So more than 30 minutes exposure at a time is anyways not going to happen. But in between, as parents, we can start adding these kind of activities. You can simply make them look at a distance, look out from the balcony and look at a distance. So these kind of activities will help them have better maintain the eyesight well, and screen exposure damage is automatically reduced. Another thing is that apart from the necessary screen time, what we can do is we can also start other timings. We can start involving child in a lot of other activities. So say if you are a mother and you are cooking, or you are getting involved in grocery, or you are just segregating things, or you are cleaning things, or you are instructing some things to your helpers in the house, you can start involving children in those activities. So age appropriate household activities are strongly recommended. Like as simple as a 2-year-old can also wipe something and they enjoy these activities. तो आप सिंपल उनको कुछ भी सिंपल पानी स्प्रे करने को दे दो और उसके साथ एक फैब्रिक दे दो, तो वो अपने आप वो जगह आपको पोंछ के देंगे. ऑफ कोर्स वी ऑलवेज हैव आवर ओन सेट स्टैंडर्ड्स फॉर इट, बट वी हैव टू ऑल्सो मेलो डाउन विद द न्यू नॉर्मल. So this automatically helps them be more interested in the activity, as well as this puts them away from screen. So in your daily household activities, you can involve them. A child who's 2.5 plus or 3 years old, you can start giving them peas to peel and remove those little peas from within, and collect numbers and make them count those numbers. So these kind of activities in the daily routine will help them be off screen and be part of your life, and you are automatically involved with them, and these activities will help them be away from screen for more number of time. Another few things which as a family you can incorporate is keep a proper routine. Family TV time or family screen time should be dedicated. So if the family is sitting together and watching something, it helps in the emotional development of the child. So you can always procrastinate. If your child is asking for a lot of TV time or a lot of screen time, you can always say that we are going to watch it together at night. This is what we are going to watch. Involve them in decision making of what as a family you are going to watch together. So that ways also you are more structuring the screen time than just randomly giving them at any time of the day. Few more tips are that involve them in physical games or physical activities, like playing board games together, or playing carom together, or even like doing some counting activity or something which probably is at child's level, but if you are involved in those things, the child automatically will not be having that impulse or urge to be on the screen all the time. So these are few ways you can actually prevent. You can start helping your child to structure the screen time, as we cannot take them off the screen, but we can obviously add a lot of things with the screen which helps them prevent, and which keeps their eyesight better, and also does not keep them too much sedentary all the time. So these are few things which I think I'm coming across lately about the screen, and understanding even the preschoolers now have to be on screen at least for some time of the day, maybe half an hour or 1 hour a day, or maybe once or thrice in a week. So however you plan, but structure it. If it is structured, you know that throughout the week you are exposing your child to only that limit. And but for that you need to be very very involved with your child. You have to make sure that all the other activities are planned around the screen time, not on the screen. So yeah, that this is one major issue that I wanted to talk about. Second, the real topic of ours, which is parent training, though screen time was also part of parent training. But parent training means, first of all, there is no right or wrong parenting. Always remember this. I come across a lot of parents coming and asking me that, what is the right type of parenting? What kind of parenting should I do? So there is no right and wrong in parenting. Parenting will depend on your family culture, your own set rules, your own cultural values, your family values, your personal values. All of this together decides the type of parenting that you feel is right for your child. And parenting is always evolving. It is constantly upgrading itself. It is constant learning. So once you give birth to a child, you actually give birth to a mother or a father or a parent. So the way child is learning throughout his life, the same way parents are learning throughout their life. So it's a skill that we need to upgrade regularly, whatever age your child is in. So even if when your child becomes adult, your child still requires parent and requires a lot of inputs from parents. So the journey is definitely, there is no set journey, there is no set path. We can't say that this is the road, you just start walking on it and you are going to be flawless. No, because a lot of environmental issues gradually start involving with your child's, gradually start interfering in your child's development. So you as a parent are not going to be controlling everything outside the house, but yes, your guidance, your structures make a lot of difference. So parent training basically is the concept. Two main issues that I want to pick up today. One is the discipline and second is the reward. These two are the main difficulties that any parent faces. So what are these concepts? These concepts are coming from operant conditioning, which means that a being is already informed about it, and being knows that if I do this, then this is going to be the consequence. So there is A, there is B, and there is C. There is always an antecedent, there is a behavior, and there is a consequence. Always remember these A, B's, and C's. So any behavior will not come without any antecedent. There has to be some trigger, there has to be something that is triggering that behavior in a child, and ultimately there is a consequence of it. So if a child is throwing a little tantrum, and if you let it go, if you laugh it out, or if you think that okay, this is how my child is, he's stubborn and he does not really listen to me, he does not like it this way, so I can't really control him. So what happens is you have already given that signal to your child, because there was no C followed by B. So there was a behavior of a child and you did not show any consequence to him. So child understands that okay, this behavior is acceptable. So you have to identify that certain behaviors which are not acceptable, even the early on, need to have some consequences. Now these consequences are going to be in the form of reward or punishment. Now punishment is a very negative word in our mind. We always think that punishment is something like hitting the child or punishing the child, and so punishing itself has a very negative connotation in our head. But punishing does not mean that negative. Punishing also means taking away certain things or taking away certain privileges. We human beings learn a lot when we are controlled for something, when we are punished for something. So punishing here is to be taken in a very neutral connotation. So for example, if your child is not behaving in a certain manner, and if you think that your child needs to be disciplined in that, so you can use certain systems like taking away certain privilege or taking away something from the child that is very important for him, or not giving him that little emotional support which can affect your child. So you have to make sure that punishment or that discipline should have some strong impact on your child, and then you can expect a changed behavior. Now again, graduating from the fact that if there are milder issues, we do not need to set any consequences, that is not the right approach, because anything and everything which is not acceptable should have certain consequence. Now consequence is in your hands. You can decide what you want for your child. So as simple as time out, as simple as not talking to your child for few hours, or as simple as not giving your child any screen time, or not letting him play the video game, or as simple as, involving him in certain activity which he does not like, which is not very very important to you, but you know that your child is not going to like this activity. These also could be the form of discipline that can be used. So every time punishing does not have to be very aggressive, very harsh. It does not mean having any traumatic experience for your child. You can decide certain set rules, certain set consequences which are predefined to your child. Another important aspect of consequence is that you have to sit with your child and decide them amongst yourself. So this is one little issue that I come across again. So what happens is, parent says that मैंने बोल दिया था कि अगर आज ये काम नहीं हुआ तो I will not let him watch TV. But was it pre-decided with the child? Was it already informed to the child? As an adult, we don't like surprises like this. We don't like shockers like this. Consequences are shockers for your child. So we do not like such consequences even as adult. So as a child, definitely they are not cognitively that strong to accept it just impromptu. So this is where I see parent making these little flaws, that you decide on the consequences on the spur of the moment, which is not the right thing. Consequences have to be pre-decided, have to be pre-informed to the child, and have to be consistent. So a lot of parents will decide on certain consequence. They might follow it for few days, and after 4 or 5 days they let it be for whatever reason. Maybe they do not want their child to go through it. They feel very guilty after giving the punishment or consequence. It skips out of their head at times. So then inconsistency also plays a very vital role when you are deciding on discipline measures. So discipline has to be pre-decided, has to be informed, and has to be consistent. If you follow these three things, then your child accepts the consequences way better, and gradually the child's personality develops into that form where he or she knows that my behavior definitely has some consequence, and that consequence can be harsh if the behavior is unacceptable, and the consequence will be good, which is our second thing, reward. So consequence might be positive if I am doing something more acceptable. Now talking about rewards, that is the form of good things that we give to our child. Now these rewards also need not always be in objective forms. So again, parents make a lot of flaws there. They think that आज मेरे बच्चे ने अच्छा behave किया तो I bought him this. उस दिन मेरे बच्चे ने मेरे लिए ये किया था तो I bought him this. So every time you do not really need to spend money or buy objects or buy positive reinforcement for your child. It could be as simple as giving them a pat, it could be as simple as giving them a hug, or it could be as simple as taking them for a drive. So there are many forms of reinforcements that you can plan for your child, and again these also have to be planned. Very small kids like preschoolers, you can actually make them very happy with stickers, make them very happy with playing a game that they like, or taking them out for a drive, or involving them in some cooking activity, or baking a cake for them, or as simple as making some chocolates together. So there are many healthier forms of reinforcements that we can have, that we can pre-plan with them, and then we can keep giving them. But these rewards and punishments both have to be predefined. both have to be decided with the child has to be part of the decision making process in this, and also has to be followed up. So a lot of time that happens, that parents decide on something and then suddenly they decide otherwise. The most common problem that I come across being a parent myself, like impulsively my child might come and ask me that mummy मेरे को ये लेके दो. Now because I am involved in something or I am busy doing something, at that point in time I might just say yes. I might just just get her out of my sight and say yeah, okay, I will. And then I haven't really thought about it. There is no decision making involved, there is no thought process involved. So what happens when my child comes back and says aapne haan bola tha, and then when I say no, it is out of my budget, or this is not something that I really want to buy, or this is something that you have already bought earlier, so I'm not going to buy you this again, very common things, that time child is not in a mind frame to accept it. So remember, a child as small as 2 years old to a child who's grown up as adult, maybe 18 or 20-year-old, once decided on something is very difficult for them to change the mindset. And so is for anyone and everyone around us. So remember that whenever you come across any such query which you are uncertain of, it is a great idea to buy some time to accept the question but not to give them the answer. You can always keep a window period because you are busy doing something, because at that point in time you do not want to disappoint your child, because your child is asking you question in front of 5 other people and you are in a fix to answer there and then. You don't really have to. You can always buy some time. You can always say that okay, we will talk about it later, or this is not the time to discuss this, or maybe I will think over it, or I will discuss it with the other family members whether we really need it or no. So what happens is you have not given any black and white answer to your child, but you have also prepared your answer, or you have also prepared your child to accept the gray areas, that there could be yes, there could be no. And there again, if certain things require certain discussions, you can always discuss it further with your child itself and then come to some conclusion. So that gives them some preparation period, that gives them certain openness to accept whatever answer comes. Of course, children do not really want to listen no as an answer, but no can also be put across very nicely after thorough discussion, after taking input from the child, after making the child rationalize whether you really want to buy it or not. So every time giving into your child's demand is not a necessity for you, and not giving into your child's demand does not make you guilty. It just simply teaches you certain assertiveness and teaches the child to accept. One second, huh? I have somebody. So it gives a certain time to your child to accept certain no's as answers too, because that makes your child emotionally tougher. So that's from my side about screen time, about consequences, discipline, about rewards. And one very important thing in today's time is to keep a very good routine. So if you have kept a strong routine for yourself and your child, it becomes easy for all of this to be accommodated in your child's development. So that's that. I have what's your name? Sorry,
Hello, ma'am.
Mrugesh.
Mruga Khivesa.
Mruga. I really like this name. What is it, Mruga?
It means deer, hiran, hirni.
हिरन, हाँ वो समझ गई मैं.
So
संस्कृत
it's
word है ना?
Mruga, yeah. So
Really
I must say that like a wonderful session we had, and you really touched the very sensitive topic of today's, that is screen time. This is the most concerned topic for each and every parent. Like it was a concern for me also, because they are like, क्या करेंगे हम, थोड़ा टीवी देखने दो, but then they have a lot of things to do for their studies also online, and then again they want to watch TV. So I think it was a very informative session on that. Apart from that, the topic you touched where you said that, giving a punishment or a reward has to be pre-planned. I think that was really informative, and I think I have learned a lot. I hope our parents have learned something new from your session. And ma'am, how are
I
you
hope so.
doing in this COVID?
I am doing well. I am occupied constructively. And frankly, I'm enjoying my house. I'm enjoying the family time that I have. And honestly, I am enjoying being at home because I think work as well as fitness, everything has become
Fit.
very easy being at home.
Easy, right? I had a query from my side. Like
Yes.
I am many of times, I can't deal like how to make my child understand that you're not supposed to lie. This is
Mm-hmm.
one thing I always fail to make him understand. Even he said, "नहीं मम्मा अब अगली बार नहीं करूँगा. I'll not lie." But how can I make him understand that it's not a really good thing?
See, neurology of lie says that it comes from fear.
Yeah.
When a child is scared of something, when a child is scared of the consequence, at that point in time, they prefer lying as the easy way out because through
Okay.
lying, they can escape from that
Yeah.
situation. But
Right.
understanding that they escape only temporarily, not permanently, that is
Right.
something that you can start talking to him or her about. And
Okay.
at the same time, just figure out that whether your discipline measures are coming from your fears,
Right.
because one very important thing I want to again talk about is that parental state of mind reflects a lot on child. A lot of
Right.
times parents stop their children from a lot of things, not out of fear but out of anxiety,
Right.
not out of the damage that will happen to the child but out of anxiety. As simple as if my child is going and bursting a pataka, I might just simply shout at that time. Now that shouting definitely has a negative impact on the
Impact.
child.
Right.
So, understanding that how we cannot reflect our fears to them will
Right.
also help your child not to be fearful all the time, and figure out what is making him lie to you, and whether he's lying only to you or everyone around,
Right. 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 So
and
I
what
think
is something that he's seeking and which he's not getting, and hence he finds out lie as the coping mechanism.
option. Yeah. So I think the most of the time it is because we get, just it's our reaction to what they say. And, they are just scared that, if we say the truth, the reaction would be negative. So
Exactly. So
maybe,
maybe working on your reaction will definitely
yeah,
help
right,
you.
right, right.
And also talking to your child works out better. So even if your child is doing something wrong and you want to stop him from it, sometimes letting him reflect on the consequences is better than you stopping him.
Yeah, right.
So and if your child is little grown up, obviously
He's
talking
eight.
about long
He's
term
8 years old.
yeah.
He's eight
So
years
you
old.
can also start talking to him about long term consequences.
Right.
So even for that little instance where he's lying to lying itself, what could be
Yeah.
the long term and short term consequences of it?
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was
Yes.
a great having you here with us. And I hope we have more such sessions with you.
I know. I hope I was of some use to all of my friends,
No,
and I
no,
know a lot of
a
my
lot of
friends logged
informative
in.
stuff we had today.
A lot of people I know logged in. Thanks, Nivedita. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Tapti Kids team. You guys are really, really very energetic, dealing with little toddlers all the time.
Right. Thank you
Managing
so much,
one
ma'am.
child is difficult, and managing
Yeah.
so many, and that too online, is super difficult.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really nice having you.
Same here. Thanks a lot. Thanks the team. Thanks the Tapti team.
I'll be taking a signing off now.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.
So, all right, that's it. We had a little chat discussion, and I hope whatever we have discussed today, if you have any questions, I am free to answer. Let me just go through it. Somebody says that it's always a pleasure to listen to you, Bhavna. So is for me. Only when I see you people online, that gives me more confidence. Thanks, Himali, for giving me the boost. Thanks, Amit, for joining in. Amit, your kids are grown up, but thanks for joining in. I had one question which I want to answer about toilet training. I think I missed it. So, anyways, that's about it. So, signing you off. Thanks a lot for being part of this conversation. Bye bye.